Hey, good morning, everybody. Making sure everything's good here because I'm knocking off the cobwebs here. I am sleepy, but that's okay. That means that I don't have the adrenaline rush of a lot of severe weather going on, but we do have some stuff to talk about, and we have a lot to talk about beyond this, actually. So I'll let some folks get in here, and then we will start to talk a little bit. And what I'm going to do today, just for, if you're watching this back later, I figured I'd go ahead and do a kind of a hybrid deal now where I go and talk about the weather this morning, what's going on. I'll give you the forecast that I typically would, and then I'm going to go sleep later today, come back at some point before Tom does his late afternoon thing, and we'll do another little weather chat here for those that missed this one. Plus, I love talking about this stuff, especially when it involves wintry weather, and we do have some of that coming as well. So first off, now that I've got some of you in here, there have been a few storms in the area. We had that one warning out in Vernon Parish, but looking across the area right now, it's just special weather statements for gusty wind. And let me tell you, I took the trash out, and it is windy. It is very windy out there. Gusts, I'll show you in a little bit here, but gusts over 40 miles per hour have been fairly widespread across the area. Now, we'll go through radar stuff, then we're going to go into more of a general forecast, but I wanted to show you a couple of things here. First off, scattered storms out ahead of the line. Again, we didn't have a ton of moisture. We had a very strong system, but it did not look like these were going to become these huge supercell thunderstorms, so that's why that tornado threat and the chance for severe weather was better to our north. In fact, you can see we have some more significant storms up that way and a couple of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings up that way. It looks like a confirmed tornado out there northwest of Clarksdale, Mississippi. So some pretty active stuff going on to our north, but down south, we did get that good side of things where things did not come together, at least so far, and I think that window is closing, and here's why. Let's go ahead and pop on over and show you what's going on with the temperatures. In fact, I'm going to pause this so it's not all crazy. High-res temps. Okay, you see the blue out here. There's the cooler stuff coming in. I'll show you a better way to see this. Now, this is the dew point, and right now, we were 70 degrees at last check, so it never really fell. In fact, the temperature came up several degrees overnight. I thought we'd probably be in the mid-60s, and we even went past that to 70. Out in Leesville, still dew point's about 65. Natchez, 66. Down south, 68. Shreveport, 51. That cold front is now moving through. You can see it basically looks like, and again, I'll do my weak attempt at drawing this. It looks like this front has kind of reinforced along those heavier storms there, and then it comes down to the southwest, and then this is moving very quickly toward the east. In fact, we can take a look on radar and see if I'm getting this correct here and see what's going on there. Let's go back to that, and that's the U.S. radar. I don't want that. Okay, go up to the Shreveport radar. If you are a weather aficionado, Shreveport radar is back online, so we have that. Thankfully, we had this for this system here, and we can use all the radars we got. So right now, it looks like this front is, when I put this in motion, you can see it's moved through Shreveport. That's happened, and this is now, actually looks like it is going to be coming through Sabine and Natchitoches now. So it looks like on that dew point map, it hadn't caught up quite yet, but this front is now clearing out areas of DeSoto Parish. You should be out of the tornado watch shortly. It looks like Caddo and Bossier. Caddo is out of the warning, or out of the tornado watch, and then Bossier should follow suit very quickly. We have storms out ahead of this, but again, nothing severe in our area, just some gusty wind. And that gusty wind is really humming out there. So now what I'm going to do is transition over to the actual show that I typically do, and just kind of, we've talked about this. I'm actually going to keep my radar up on my phone just in case something does pop and we get a severe warning. But the way it looks now, I mean, hardly any lightning out of these. These are very shallow, only about 20,000 feet deep. And when we're looking at severe supercells, a lot of times we're looking 40, 50, even 55,000 feet deep. So these are shallower storms, and because they are lower topped, we have not seen that severe threat materialize down here. Up to the north, it is happening, and that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. So on over to the show. Maybe have a glitch or two on the way in here, but let's, oh, by the way, another kind of programming note here, the Gina camera, it's not connected right now. So I'm hoping nothing blew loose on that, because that thing's 250 feet up. If we have issues, oh, do we have issues on getting that fixed? But hopefully it's just an internet hit. Looking out at the camera here in Alexandria from the Cenla Broadcasting Tower on Texas Avenue, we have some rain falling, we have some wind blowing, and it is a pretty calm looking morning out there. Other than that, not a lot of people out there. Yeah, the wind is beyond ridiculous. It is absolutely gusty out there. It's crazy. And I went out and put the trash out earlier and the door was only halfway shut. The door blew open and all that. So I hope I didn't wake the whole family up. But there you go. Cold front through Shreveport, 54 degrees. Natchitoches, you are next. Leesville, also pretty close to this one. Actually, you might be right where that front is right now. But these only update every hour, so this is about 15 minutes old here. 66 in Natchitoches, 70 in Alexandria, it's 73 down in Baton Rouge. It is a warm start for most, but if you leave very early, say you're a teacher, you're heading out to school right now, and you're like, oh, this is nice. No, you bring a jacket. Send the kids with coats today. It's going to be much colder by the time they come home, and this wind is going to continue. These are your current gusts right now. Last check, it was 29 in Alexandria, but look, 47 in Kinder, 40 in Ville Platte, numerous gusts over 40 miles per hour. And it is going to be one of those days out there with this wind. It's turning from the southwest now toward the northwest through the day, and that's when that cold air comes in. And when I say cold air, you have to understand that we have insanely cold air coming behind it. So this is kind of your normal cold, not your normal wind, but this is more typical of what we see in this part of the country. But the cold that's coming next week looks flat out nasty, and it could be the coldest thing we've seen in a good while. Could be even colder than what we saw right before Christmas in 2022, and that's madness because that was very cold. I mean, we're talking wind chills near zero again. Yeah. Okay, that's even a little cold for me. Wind alerts, wind advisories for everybody from Louisiana to Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma. We're all going to see lots of wind. So if you're traveling today, not the best day. And power outages, this is a thing that we're monitoring right now. The big area where we're seeing this, 3,500 plus customers out of power in Beauregard Parish, 900 in Allen, a few here in Rapides, and a couple in Sabine as well. But Beauregard Parish, that is where we've seen the most. I could see these increasing here this morning, and even today with those winds gusting perhaps as high as 50 miles per hour behind this front. So your day planner, I should have threw a windy icon on there, but it's early and I'm not really paying attention to detail. Plus I'm looking ahead now toward that that icy, wintry kind of threat that we're looking at. But 63 at 7, 60 at 10, I think will be a little cooler than that. 52 at 1 p.m. and we keep going down into the 40s by the time school's out, by the time you're getting home and all that stuff. So here it goes. Temperatures falling by 3 p.m. We're at 49 degrees. It is going to be, no, I said I did. Snow was a mistake. That's, again, this is Nick not sleeping brain. 54 in Lafayette by 3, 61 New Orleans. There, everybody sees the cold air come in and we cool below freezing. Now, a little hint of what's to come is way up. Can you see that? Yeah. So up through like Oklahoma City here by Saturday morning, we're starting to see that real cold stuff building to our north. And this is going to eventually come this way. Now, the severe threat for today, this resets at 6 a.m. So, this is about where we're looking at now. Thunderstorms to the east here, east of a Monroe to Alexandria line, maybe still a severe storm. That's why I'm watching things. In fact, is that a... No, that's not a severe thunderstorm warning. It's another special weather statement to our north. We are going to see the potential for a severe storm or two for the next couple of hours. That's mainly going to be in the eastern half of the area, and that window for severe weather is quickly closing. I know everyone is happy to hear that. Futurecast on the GFS. Now, this model is going to show us the general idea of kind of timing and how things go, but don't pay attention to exactly what it does here. So what happens is the cold air comes in. You can't even see that. We'll talk more about that later. By 9 o'clock Sunday evening, if you have plans to head anywhere, like especially up north, we're starting to see precipitation come together. We have our first wave come through, and this first wave, I think, is going to be more centered to our north. So by, Monday afternoon, I think we get some light freezing precipitation, light freezing rain into the area. The secondary wave could be more significant, and the big question is, do we get a Gulf low? Do we get a low pressure system to develop to our south? Because if that happens, that's going to throw a lot more moisture up over top of this. And in this solution, you can see mixed precipitation for most of the area, even down to I-10, it's possible to see this. So freezing rain, maybe some sleet, because this air is going to be so cold, it might freeze this into little ice pellets, but we're not going to see lift way up high in the atmosphere where it's hard to explain, but where snowflakes form, you have to be below a certain temperature, below, let's say, about 14 degrees, and you have to have strong lift there. And we don't have that strong, deep lift above this warmer air that's coming in. So it's pretty shallow where this happens, but we get enough precipitation out of the deal to where we don't see snowflakes form. And even if we did, we have that warm air aloft. Well, I say warm, probably in the 40s to 50 degrees, a few thousand feet up, and that's going to melt anything. And then we could refreeze as sleet, but we're not going to see it crystallize into snow. At least it doesn't look that way. Even with this very strong Arctic air, I don't think it's going to happen because Arctic air is shallow. And then as it deepens, it dries out. So that's kind of why we're not going to see the snowflakes in a very long-winded little explanation there. And this is your total precipitation forecast for Monday into Tuesday. So this encompasses that entire event. And we're looking at, per this fairly conservative estimate, about 1/10 of an inch of liquid. I think most of that falls, especially in the northern half of the area with temperatures at or below freezing. And with it falling lightly, I think it's going to efficiently accumulate. So we're going to see it accumulate on elevated surfaces if this happens. And right now I've got my chance up to 60%. So I'm trending toward thinking this is probably going to happen. And thankfully, we're already off school on Monday. I know people are already asking me about Tuesday. And the reason I'm not saying no, this is going to be done and everything is because it's going to be so incredibly cold Monday night that, it's not like we have salt trucks around here. We could see bridge issues lingering into Tuesday for sure. So here is your 7-day forecast that I have updated slightly. I put some words and added a 10% boost to the Monday freezing rain chances. See, I don't know what it's going to do. Windy with falling temps today. So 45 is not your high. 45 is the temperature by late afternoon when you are typically going to see that high temperature. 57 on Saturday. We cool off a bit more on Sunday, and it's flat out frigid, disgusting cold Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday, especially Wednesday morning with a low of 13 degrees. So we are going to see the potential for wind chill factor, for the wind chill to actually get down to around 0 degrees Tuesday morning. I think Monday night to Tuesday morning is going to be our best chance to see that. But as that precipitation ends on Monday, we're going to cool off into the teens that night. So let's say we do get a little ice on the roadways. It's not going anywhere. It's going to stick around. So travel could be difficult Monday into Monday night, perhaps Tuesday. Tuesday, we struggle to hit freezing, though I think with all that sunshine, we should at least try and melt off anything on the roadways. So, still a lot of details to come because if you think about it, I mean, this is after the weekend. We're just entering Friday here, so we're still about 4 days away. But it's one of those things where the ensembles are starting to hit it pretty hard. They're starting to get real good agreement that we are going to see some precipitation and some very chilly air, very cold air. We're going beyond chilly right into cold. And the 8 to 14 day forecast, look at this. This shows we stay above normal on precipitation, and we're going to stay cold. We're not going to stay like teens at night cold, but we are going to stay chilly. So could we see another winter event? I doubt it, but this is the kind of pattern, as we were saying a couple of weeks ago, that favors these chances. When you have the cold air, you have an active southern stream of the jet, you can get this stuff to happen. So lots we have talked about already. Let's go back and look at radar, kind of bookend with that and see what we have going out there. And then I'm going to get out of here. I'll stick around and sit in this chair and pet my cat until the severe threat completely passes. But that's about all I'm going to offer because I'm going to get tired then. Let's go ahead and take a look here, switching gears into what is going on that radar. And there's just not a ton to talk about here. The tornado watch continues. This is in effect, it says until 11 a.m. It's going to be peeled back here as that front moves through. In fact, I think these areas here around Shreveport, you can already just kind of cross yourself off the tornado watch list. Here in Alexandria, not in the watch because we're seeing those shallower showers and storms developing. These are not becoming severe, but our big issue is that gusty wind here, seeing wind gusts well over 40 miles per hour. And the one panel that I think was most interesting and what I showed you on the forecast here was that we had a lot of power outages, especially in Beauregard and Allen Parish, about 4,400 power outages, for 4,400 customers without power in those areas, especially Beauregard Parish. So I know that's a pain. I know we don't like power outages, and I hope they can get you back on quickly. Now, talking about power outages, when I look at this system coming in with the very cold air and with the potential for freezing rain, we always think, is the power going to be out? I don't think so. Again, we're still 4 days away. Some worst case scenarios would bring that potential, but most scenarios keep this light enough to where I don't think we'd have that kind of load on the power lines to where it would cause that issue. If we're less than a quarter of an inch, it's going to be pretty isolated for that to happen, but it's something we're going to keep an eye on. We're going to monitor very closely. Okay, so I think I am going to, well, I'm going to look at comments here, make sure nobody's yelling at me. All right, look at that 13. Yeah, it's going to be cold. Dustin, no. I said no snow. Stop it. Chance of power outages next week. Good. We just went over that. Yeah. Looks like there could be some icy bridges and overpasses. And, with temperatures dropping so quickly Monday evening as the precipitation's exiting, that's what kind of worries me too, because once that sun goes down, you don't have any sort of solar insulation. You don't have the sun even coming through the clouds. That helps to melt these things. So as that goes down, as sun goes down, we see the threat for that ice to really just kind of reseal, especially on those bridges and overpasses, and perhaps even surface streets. Because when we're getting down to the low 20s and the teens, even if precipitation's not falling, but there's still moisture out there, we could see some slick roadways. So this is not going to be one of those things that's going to have us marooned in our home for 2 weeks. So please be nice at the grocery store and, don't buy 9 loaves of bread unless you need it. But, just sit back and build a fire and hopefully enjoy some wintry weather that won't cause us any major interruptions. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully this is my only broadcast for the morning, but at some point later today, I'll jump back on because I'm telling you, all I'm doing is looking at this wintry stuff. And I will be updating you, I'd say. I don't want to give a time. After I get all the model stuff and I feel like I'm ready to give you something new. How about that? All right, have a safe morning and hold on to your hats. And remember, it's going to get colder as we get through the day here. So it's nice out right now. Going to be a lot colder in a few hours. See you later.